The history of European classical architecture, in bite size. From ancient Greece to the present day, classical architecture has had a profound influence on the design and construction of buildings across Europe and beyond. In this video, we'll explore the key historical periods and architectural styles that have shaped the look and feel of the built environment in Europe. The roots of European classical architecture can be traced back to ancient Greece, where the ideals of harmony, balance, and proportion were first developed. The Greeks built grand public buildings, such as the Parthenon in Athens, that exemplified these ideals. The columns, pediments, and friezes of Greek architecture became the defining features of classical architecture, and continue to be used to this day. In addition, Greek architects also developed the idea of the orders of columns, the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian styles, each having distinct characteristics and proportions. We'll be seeing these orders throughout our journey. The Greeks' ideas about architecture were later taken up by the Romans, who expanded upon them to create new forms of public buildings. Roman architecture was characterized by its use of arches, vaults, and domes. Examples of Roman architecture include the Colosseum and the Pantheon in Rome. Additionally, Roman architects also introduced new building techniques such as the use of concrete, that allowed for greater structural flexibility, and the creation of large public spaces and monumental architecture. During the Middle Ages, classical architecture fell out of use, and new architectural styles emerged, such as Gothic architecture. This style, which was characterized by its pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses, was used to build grand cathedrals and other religious buildings. Gothic architecture was also characterized by an increased height and the use of light and decoration to enhance the overall aesthetic. In the 15th and 16th centuries, classical architecture was rediscovered during the Renaissance. Architects began to draw inspiration from the works of the ancient Greeks and Romans, and a new style of classical architecture emerged. This style, known as Renaissance architecture, was characterized by its symmetry, order, and use of classical motifs. Examples of Renaissance architecture include the Palazzo della Signoria in Florence, and the Palace of Versailles near Paris. The Renaissance marked a revival of interest in classical ideals, as well as an emphasis on humanism and the harmonious relationship between man and nature. In the 17th and 18th centuries, new forms of classical architecture emerged, known as Baroque and Rococo. These styles, which originated in Italy and France respectively, were characterized by their ornate decoration, elaborate curves, and dynamic forms. Examples of Baroque architecture include St. Peter's Basilica in Rome and the Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna. Examples of Rococo architecture include the Royal Palace of Madrid and the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg. These styles were known for their grandeur, excess, and opulence, which reflects the wealth and power of the ruling monarchs of the time. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, a new style of classical architecture emerged, known as Neoclassicism. This style, which was characterized by its use of ancient Greek and Roman motifs, was used to build grand public buildings, such as government buildings and museums. Examples of Neoclassicism include the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin and the British Museum in London. It was a reflection of the Enlightenment ideas of reason and order, and aimed to evoke a sense of grandeur and stability. From ancient Greece to the present day, classical architecture has had a profound influence on the design and construction of buildings across Europe and beyond. While the styles and forms of classical architecture have evolved over time, the ideals of harmony, balance, and proportion have remained constant. Today, classical architecture continues to inspire architects and designers, and remains an important part of our built environment. Thank you for watching. And don't forget, next time you're walking around a city, look up and appreciate the beauty of classical architecture that surrounds you. Like and subscribe for more bite-sized history videos.